Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I want to talk about Launch School's LS170 Networking Foundations course. Now, if you're new to this channel and you're new to my Launch School series of videos, I talk about my experience going through Launch School's software engineering curriculum for their JavaScript track. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you a study method you can use to guarantee that you pass the LS171 Networking Foundations assessment to make sure that you move on through the course to graduate so you can get that software engineering career that you're looking for. Now, just for a little bit of an outline on this video, I'm going to give you an overview of what was in the course, LS170 Networking Foundations, and then I'm going to talk about how I studied in my experience on the examination. So, without further ado, let's get into the outline so we can move through to the end to talk about study tips. So this course is broken up into 6 parts. The first part is the internet, the second part is the transport layer. The third part is an intro to HTTP. The fourth part is a practical exercise working with HTTP. The fifth part, we talk about security protocols. And then the sixth part of this lesson, you talk about some of the evolution of networking technologies and technologies that allow you to use modern web browsers with some of the interactive nature that you see on most modern websites. So, the first part of this course, the internet. What we talk about is what is the internet, how it works, how it's a network of network. We talk about the protocols that are used, the layered nature of the networks, and then do a quick introduction into Amazon AWS Cloud9 IDE, which we're going to use to simulate setting up our own network. In the next part, we talk about the data link layer, and then finally the network layer of the internet. This section of the course wraps up with a quiz, and overall it's extremely reading heavy. Unlike earlier lessons or parts of this curriculum, this course, this Networking Foundations course, is very reading heavy. There's not a lot of practicals, and there's no practice problems in this section of the course. So you have to get ready to just read through, basically steamroll through all this reading and make sure that you're ready for the exam, which I'm going to get to later. So the second part in this 6-part course is the transport layer. In this section of the course, we talk about communications between processes on devices. So how you go and find a device on a network and then find the specific sub-process on that device that's operating that you're trying to communicate with. This section also talks about the transmission control protocol, or TCP, as well as the user datagram protocol, or UDP. It finishes up with another quiz, just like the first section. And again, this is a very reading heavy section. The next part, Intro to HTTP, mostly focuses on Launch School's open bookshelf book, their Intro to HTTP book, where it goes through everything you need to know about HTTP, how it functions on the web, and what you need to be ready for the next section, which will be a practical HTTP exercise. This third section also finishes up with a quiz, and again, another reading heavy section. So for the fourth section, they switch up and give you a practical exercise using a network utility called Netcat. So this is the practical workable section of HTTP where through Netcat we set up our own simulated network where we have a client and a server running on our own machines over our local area network where we can communicate back and forth, simulating 2 different devices on a network. So that's pretty interesting. It was my first time using Netcat, and if you've never done this before, it will be more exciting than the other parts of this course. There's no quiz for this section as it's just focused on the practical. The next section is going to be Transport Layer Security, TLS. We talk about the evolution of SSL as the primary means of security over the internet to TLS, which is what most modern browsers use. We talk about TLS encryption, authentication, and integrity, and this wraps up like the previous sections with a quiz. The final section, the evolution of network technologies, talks about how network technologies allow for many of the interactive websites that you see today where there's features of the site that are updating in real time while you're browsing, what technologies allow that to happen, and then we talk a little bit about network APIs as well as P2P networks and how those differ from a normal network that most of the internet functions on. So that is how the course is laid out. For the assessment, like every previous assessment, you're going to get a study guide which gives you a detailed breakdown of all the subjects you need to know. So my approach to this, which I spoke a little bit about in the last assessment video, which is I've refined over time, is to go through each one of those topics that's on the study guide and do a second pass through the course material, focusing on those topics and making sure that I have a detailed understanding of those topics as well as a robust set of notes going over everything in the study guide. The second part of my study method is to go back through every quiz, starting with the first one all the way through to the last one, and looking at any of the questions that I didn't get perfectly or I wasn't comfortable with, and I'll write up detailed notes on that question in that section. Even if there's a question that I did pass, but I'm not, I'm gonna read back through all of them. And if there's something that I'm not quite crystal clear on, I'm gonna go find the material within the course to make my notes, as detailed or as robust as they need to be for me to feel like I have a crystal clear understanding of that material. So once I've gone through the material a second time, answering any of the assessment questions that are on the study guide, as well as, potentially a third time looking for any of the material that I missed on the previous quizzes, and I feel very comfortable with all that, that's when I'll go ahead and decide to take my examination. I hope you guys enjoyed that review of Launch School's LS170 Networking Foundations and LS171 Networking Foundations assessment. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video, if you got something out of it, or if you have any other questions on this section of the Launch School course. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so that you're notified anytime that I come out with another video like this. And as always, thank you guys for watching.